Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. According to Spanish outlet Sport, Manchester United won Ousmane Dembele. We have been talking with his representatives and we are preparing a bid. Now Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist and is close to Man United, he said that Ousmane Dembele is set to hold talks with Barcelona over a new contract. We have been monitoring his displays this season. Now, at one point we was looking to get Ousmane Dembele on loan with the option to buy. Ousmane Dembele has been at Barcelona for a few years now. He's got 15 months left on his current contract. Barcelona got him in a deal worth 135 million from Borussia Dortmund back in 2017. Ousmane Dembele has sustained a lot of injuries at Barcelona. He is only the age of 23, so he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. He's valued at around 50 million euros. There has been a lot of players on our agenda. Now, you already know the news on Harry Kane. Harry Kane has dealt Tottenham a major blow. He's refused to commit his future to the club. Kane is delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. It's us and Man City that want him because us and Man City are in search for a number 9. Harry Kane is valued at £150 million. David Einstein was talking about Harry Kane not so long ago. He come out and said that he spoke to a lot of people and he said that Kane wants to leave. He said he's committed whilst he's at Tottenham, but he wants to win trophies and he's not experiencing this at Tottenham. So quite clearly, Harry Kane is unhappy. Harry Kane is regarded as one of the best strikers in the world. He's a prolific goal scorer. His link-up play is very good. Harry Kane has been at Tottenham for around 17 years. He was in their youth setup from 2004 to 2005 and obviously he broke into Tottenham's senior squad in 2009. He's made around 234 appearances in the league and he's scored 160 goals. He's got a contract with Tottenham until 2024. He's on around £200,000 a week. Kane has won the Golden Boot a couple of times. He's had quite a few loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. And he's highly experienced. He is the age of 27. I think we actually prefer to sign Erling Haaland though instead of Harry Kane. Now I'd love Manchester United to sign Erling Haaland. Main explanations is because Haaland would dramatically improve us. He would assure us goals. Plus he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him. And Solskjaer knows the player well. And I'm very confident that if he comes to Man United, he'll replicate what he's been doing at Borussia Dortmund. Solskjaer worked with Haaland at Molde. Solskjaer gave him his debut at just the age of 16. Ollie said earlier on this season that he's following Erling Haaland's progress and he's keeping in touch with Erling Haaland. And he recently said that Solskjaer keeps calling Erling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. Back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Erling Haaland's father, Alf Hinch Haaland, has spoken about his son's transfer links to Man United before. And he's spoken about his son's career and his prospects, and he's actually advised him to join Manchester City. But there's a good chance Haaland will leave in the summer transfer window, especially if Dortmund fail to qualify for the Champions League. Erling Haaland does have a £68 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until next year. They've already revealed their asking price for Haaland. It's 154 million. But Dortmund are going to find it extremely difficult to sell him if they are demanding that much. But he has been at Dortmund over a year now. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him, and he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. You know the news on Marcos Llorente from Atletico Madrid. Recent narrative said that Atletico Madrid have set their price for Man United to sign Marcos Llorente. We will have to pay his entire 103 million release clause. Atletico Madrid have made it clear they're not willing to let him go for a cut price fee. Because reports were stemming from Spain on Friday saying that we put an offer in of 68.5 million for Llorente, and it mentioned that we was prepared to double his £90,000 a week wages, but he said a move was unlikely. Marcos Llorente can play as a midfielder and a secondary striker, so he is versatile. Atletico Madrid paid £35 million for him from Real Madrid. He's got a contract with Atletico until 2024. But yeah, he enjoyed 11 years at Real Madrid before he went to Atletico Madrid, and he had a loan spell with Alaves. And he is the age of 26, so still in his prime, and he's got a lot of development in him. There has been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. You obviously know the news on Pau Torres. Do you think there's a good chance he'll come to Old Trafford? Do you think Man United could get Rafael Varane on the board? Because there's been a lot of narratives coming out saying that, his future's in doubt and it's looking very likely he's going to leave Real Madrid. Jules Koundé, we've been looking at him. We need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. But I'm expecting Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. But I do think we need a striker. We need a right winger, we need a holding midfielder, and we need a centre-half. I reckon Solskjaer needs at least £200 million in the summer transfer window if he's to get the players he wants to recommend in. For £200 million, we'll probably get a good 3 or 4 players. But it said earlier on this season that our transfer budget had been revealed and it was £80 million. A lot of United fans were shocked in that aspect because we know £80 million is not enough for us to get the players we want to recommend in. Ollie did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic. He said he's interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. But this year's summer transfer window is huge for Manchester United and Solskjaer. I think there's a good chance Solskjaer will get the backing he deserves anyway. Because obviously Woodward has come out several times to show his support for Ollie, and he did say towards the end of last year that he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. And even enjoying them really bad periods, Woodward assured that Solskjaer's job was safe. Like I've mentioned before, our board have got a soft stance on Ollie, with him being a club legend. And Woodward recently said he believes that Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. And he released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him. And plus we've got John Murtough. He's our director of football. And it was the right decision by the club to get a director of football in, because I did say that's one of the structural changes that we need at the club. And John Murtough knows the club inside out because he's been at Man United since 2014. And Darren Fletcher, he knows the club through thick and thin. He endured 2 decades as a player and he's our technical director now. Solskjaer's already discussed with our new recruitment team about our transfer targets and our transfer plans for the summer in general. The summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. But I can assure Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window. He'll be Man United manager next season because we have made it clear that Solskjaer will not be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League this season. And I've said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to win a trophy as Manchester United manager because obviously that marks more progress, and plus Solskjaer's not yet won a trophy as Manchester United manager. He did say not so long ago winning trophies is an ego thing. He said that in regards to some other managers and some other clubs. But I think he's wrong in that aspect because football is about winning trophies. And we haven't won a trophy since 2017. And that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. The Europa League is our only chance of any silverware this season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has already agreed to sign a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. Sources at Old Trafford did say a few weeks ago, though, that talks were set to begin any day on the new deal because Solskjaer is into the final year of his current 3-year contract. He did say earlier on this season that Ole's future was in doubt because he admitted that nobody had spoke to him over a new contract. But does he deserve a new contract? In some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, no. I don't think he'll see it out, to be honest with you. 3 years. But I can assure Solskjaer is not the long-term manager for Man United. This is his 2nd full season at the football club. I can assure we'll finish in the top 4 this season, but just a top 4 finish isn't good enough without a trophy, is it? Let's be honest. That's what Danny Murphy reckons. But if we finish 2nd this season and we win the Europa League, I'll turn around and say, yeah, that represents a good season for Man United and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. A lot of United fans are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. Not so long ago, Ole outs were trending on social media after our 3-1 defeat to Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. They've obviously got main explanations, obviously, why they want Solskjaer out of the club. But even if we wanted to sack him now, and there was talks about him getting sacked, we wouldn't be able to sack him because it wouldn't really solve much if we sacked him. Because not all of the blame stems from him when we are inconsistent. And plus, as far as I'm aware, at the moment, there is no one available. If soon as someone comes available, then obviously we can sack him. The main explanation that Solskjaer is still Man United manager is because he's a club legend. That's what saved him, Solskjaer endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He's been here now over 2 years. Reflecting now on he's been at the club, he's gained some managerial experience and he's learned quite a bit on the job. But Ole doesn't have a proven pedigree as a manager and he doesn't have that big club arrogance as a manager. My biggest concern about Ole is his decision making because in a lot of his games at Man United he has been tactically naive. But there again, there's been some games where he showed tactical flexibility, but he doesn't show tactical flexibility enough. And I just think that Ole is in a position that he shouldn't be really in. And Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United, it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. Solskjaer did well when he first came in, didn't he? He won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. That's when he was the interim manager. So the club decided to give him the job permanently 2 years ago. But I do believe that we're giving the job too soon. Maybe we should have waited until the end of that particular season to decide or not whether, he's the right manager for Man United. But we have got to credit him in quite a few aspects. There's not all negativity regarding Ole. The positives are that we have enjoyed very, very good periods under him. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. He got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. He's got us to the Europa League quarter-final. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. Lost 2-0 to Man City. Last season, his first full season, we went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions. We was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. He guided us to 3 semi-finals. He got us a third-place finish last season, the second highest we've finished since Ferguson, and he got us qualification for the Champions League. I also like the way that Ole has promoted the youth, so I've got to credit him in that aspect. He's also got rid of a lot of players since he's come in. He's also made good signings, but obviously hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in as yet. Solskjaer has spent almost 300 million at Man United. And we are second in the Premier League. At one point, it got us top of the Premier League. Obviously, that's when we was in the title race. But there was a period where we dropped far too many points, so we're no longer in the title race now. I don't think Solskjaer will lead us to a Premier League title. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just being realistic. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so that's 8 years ago now. But we have made mistakes in the last 8 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been, Ole is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. We've sacked 3 managers. We sacked Moyes, we sacked Van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho, and we're not even really known as a sacking football club. The board's been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time as well. Main explanations is reflecting now poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players, and the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got all the players that they wanted to recommend in. We are going to offload quite a few players in the summer transfer window. I think there's a good chance that Edison Cavani's going to go. The Uruguay coach has actually urged Edison Cavani to leave. Now, Football Insider said the other week that Cavani had reached a verbal agreement to join Boca Juniors at the end of the season. If we get rid of Cavani in the summer transfer window, we won't receive a transfer fee because Cavani's current contract expires in June. We have an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Now, Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Man United. And his father came out a few weeks ago and said that Cavani is unhappy and he doesn't feel comfortable in England and wants to leave. And prior to that, reports were coming out from Argentina saying that, Cavani's decided to leave after 1 season. Cavani has had a few injuries at Man United, but I think he has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. His hold-up play's been good. His movement in and out of the box has been good. He's created chances and he's scored some good goals. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to sell Anthony Martial in the summer because he's no longer good enough to represent the club. Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. He's had chances, but he hasn't converted them. But Solskjaer said earlier on this season he's backing Martial to rediscover his form. He said he's been impressed with his work rate. We got Martial from Monaco back in 2015, got him in a deal worth 54 million. I think he's had 2 good seasons at Man United and 3 poor seasons. He was good last season and he was good in his debut season under Van Gaal. I think it was last season Solskjaer gave him that number 9 shirt. But if we sell Martial in the summer transfer window, I reckon we'll get £30 million. At least. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance he's going to leave the club because Juan Mata doesn't get in R11. And earlier on this season, Solskjaer said he wasn't surprised that Juan Mata was linked to a move away from the club, and I heard that 3 Italian clubs were in for him. Juan Mata's current contract expires in June, but there is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Earlier on this season, Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. But I think Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. But my reservation about him, he has lost that yard of pace and plus he's in his 30s. There's a good chance that we'll sell Donny van de Beek in the summer transfer window. Obviously, Donny van de Beek isn't getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. Most of Donny van de Beek's appearances when he's been involved in games have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. But it actually recently said that Donny van de Beek feels loved at the club, despite his lack of game time. Prior to that, he said Donny van de Beek's threatened to quit Man United after 1 season due to his lack of game time, and he wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward regarding his future. Mark Hughes, he came out not so long ago and spoke about Van de Beek and said that he feels lost at Man United and he's edging closer to a Man United exit. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made an admission earlier on this season saying that Van de Beek's unhappy due to his lack of game time, but he promised him more game time at Man United. We need to use him more. He's just come back from injury not so long ago. We got him in a deal worth £40 million. He's under contract with us till 2025. And he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Nemanja Matic, good chance we'll sell him in the summer transfer window because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances. The reason I've always had my strong reservations about him because he's more or less always been inconsistent and he's always been a static player. The club made a mistake by giving him that new 3-year contract before the start of this season. Matic has been at the club almost 4 years now. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Will we sell Fred in the summer transfer window? Paul Pogba, there's a good chance he'll still leave Man United in the summer transfer window. There again, there's a good chance he'll stay potentially past the summer. Now, recent narratives have come out and said that Juventus have offered us Paulo Dybala in a swap deal for Paul Pogba, because it recently said Juventus want a Paul Pogba swap deal. And it says they was willing to offload like Adrian Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey to afford Pogba. Fabrizio Romano did recently say that Juventus are refusing to give up on re-signing Paul Pogba. And it actually said Ronaldo is key to Paul Pogba's exit. Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 exceptional years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United. He's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. And PSG have also been in for him, so he has had a long-running transfer saga. If we sell Pogba in the summer, I reckon we'd get from between 60 to 70 million pounds. We've been getting the best out of Pogba in recent months. Obviously delivered the goods in Milan, come on and scored the goal and made an instant impact. You know, Paul Pogba brings creativity to the team. And I think we need to keep him on that left wing, you know, in more of an advanced role because that's where he's more effective. But disregarding Paul Pogba, we lack creativity and we are far too defensive. Yeah, he come back from a thigh injury not so long ago. He had an ankle injury earlier on this season, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So, sustained a few injuries now at United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said not so long ago that he wants Paul Pogba to stay, and he's hopeful he'll sign a new contract. Solskjaer revealed we've been in contract talks with Pogba, but as far as I'm aware at the moment, we have not yet made a formal contract offer. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. As it stands at the moment, he's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Now, we know that Mini Oriola is desperate to get his client out of the club. Mini Oriola doesn't have a good relationship with Man United, and he has been criticised a lot. Matthias Pogba, Paul Pogba's brother, he gave us an update on Pogba's future earlier on this season, and he advised us to sell Paul Pogba because he said there's a good chance he'll leave for free next year, and he said he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Jones, I'm expecting us to get rid of him as well. Jones is the only outfield player that's still here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era, and this is his 10th season at Man United, so he's been a long servant, but he doesn't get in our 11. You know, Jones has been out of injury now for over a year. Romero, I'm expecting him to go. Will Man United sell Eric Bailly in the summer transfer window? We've put contract talks on hold for Eric Bailly. Bailly wants assurances over his playing time before he decides whether he's going to sign this new contract or not. Bailly recently apologised to Solskjaer and his Man United teammates for his disrespectful behaviour, because he was coming out saying that Bailly was furious with Solskjaer because he felt disrespected and not wanted by him. And Bailly believed that we're only willing to offer him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. I'd love us to keep Bailly potentially past the summer. I don't know about long term, but potentially past the summer, because he is a good centre half. The only element of concern about him is too injury prone. And De Gea, you know, good chance that we'll sell him in the summer transfer window as well, so we can make Dean Henderson our first choice goalkeeper. Delors, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. So imagine we sell all them players, we'll generate a substantial amount and it'll help us with our rebuilding process. But there's a lot of players, you know, that are going to stay at Man United in the summer transfer window. Dean Henderson will stay because Dean Henderson's done very well in the games he's been involved in this season. Luke Shaw will. Luke Shaw's been player of the season by far. Probably Lindelof will. Maguire will. And Wan-Bissaka will. Bailly could. I think Fred will, to be honest with you. He may leave, but I think he'll stay potentially past the summer. McTominay will stay. Pogba could stay. Bruno Fernandes will, definitely. He'll stay. Rashford will. Greenwood will, definitely. Amad Diallo Traore will. Like I said, Amad Diallo Traore looks a good asset for the first team. Scored his first goal for the club not so long ago. So yeah, there you go. There is a few players now that don't get in our 11, like I've already mentioned. Brandon Williams, he doesn't get in our 11. Tuan Zebe doesn't get in our 11. Bay doesn't. Tellez doesn't. Juan Mata doesn't. Phil Jones doesn't. Romero doesn't. So yeah. We'll be doing another video soon, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.